played and ranked all 9 Inuyasha console games. From fighting games to RPGs to even a board game? Inuyasha is an iconic series I used to watch on Adult Swim. But I've never played these games before, so I decided to change that and show you what each game is like. Are any of these hidden gems, or do they deserve to sit this one out? Let's start in chronological order with Kagome's Diary of the Sengoku period. This game was released on the Wonderswan, which is a Japanese exclusive handheld developed by Bandai before they merged with Namco. It's a bit of a weird looking system with 2 D-pads. Being a handheld is important because of the way this game plays. Before that, let's talk about the story. It has a mix of both original and anime-based scenarios. It starts off with Kagome first meeting Inuyasha, like in the show, and after that you get new plots and others that are covered in the show. It even has an original character who transforms like Shippo and is another love interest for Kagome. He's in all the Wonderswan games, so we will be seeing more of him. This game is basically Inuyasha Tamagotchi. As Kagome, you're trying to get along with Inuyasha. This is usually done by giving him items and you can see how he reacts to them. It will increase his affection for you and unlock more conversation points. It's cool to see the 2 characters interact, and that is a big part of the appeal of this game. You can get more conversation and events if you explore the map, if you're lucky. The reason I say lucky is because the events are time-based, so they only activate at certain times of the day. However, it's not in-game time, but real-world time. On the top right you'll see a clock, and the console has an internal clock. Certain events in the game will only happen either at night or in the morning of your day. If you keep exploring, nothing will happen until an event that is supposed to trigger happens, and the main story is also locked behind this clock. I played in an emulator so I could speed up the days manually, but for people with the original console, if you somehow don't have anything else to do, you can play 3 minigames which are simple and don't do anything else besides kill time. There's not much depth to them, and neither is in the combat of this game. In some events you get to fight against enemies and battles are pretty straightforward. It's a turn-based RPG which gives you 4 options: attack, defend, evade, and what Google translates to I will leave it to you. The reason they have this is because Inuyasha will not listen to your orders if you don't have a good relationship with him. Like when a high-level Pokemon doesn't obey you because you don't have enough badges. So having a good relationship with Inuyasha becomes crucial for combat. He has stats like health and stress level that you can recover with items. You can pick up items by going back to the present and taking things from your parents' pantry. This is also time-based, so you don't abuse it and keep taking your parents' stuff to get to a 50-plus-year-old demon. In the end, I think this game made sense for its time and console. It was meant for something you pick up throughout the day, like how we look at our phones nowadays. Not the best thing in long sessions, as you have to play in the game's time and not yours. Also not the best thing to play on an emulator, since I had to switch the time manually and the language barrier didn't make it easy for a heavy text-based game. While this game did not do much since it was on a small handheld, how does Inuyasha do on the big screen? Inuyasha on the PS1 was the first home console game for Inuyasha. This game follows the story of the show with Kagome releasing Inuyasha and then shattering the Shikon Jewel and them going to find the shards. The chibi forms for the characters are cute, and while there is voice acting, it's sadly all in Japanese. Time to hold up my phone for Google Translate and get my workout. So, how does this game play? It's a turn-based RPG. You have your basic options except for skills that take up MP are in the same menu as the regular attacks. Weird to me that they don't have their own menu. When you do an attack, you see this cool animation that looks like they ripped it right out of the show. Battles on the other hand are not difficult. You will be doing your basic attacks on most enemies while they try to attack Inuyasha, who dodges most of them. It could be compensating for the fact that the party is only 2 characters so far. It might change after you get more members, but I played for a couple of hours and was not able to get any of the other party members. Item usage in battle was weird since characters have their own inventory instead of a shared one. You can move items around in the menu or pick up the items by swapping the characters in the overworld. It's more realistic, but it's item management that takes up time. There are also gameplay reasons to switch to other characters in the overworld. Kagome can sense the shards and will point you in the direction of them. Inuyasha on the other hand can use his sense of smell to find things when it calls for it, and and jump over obstacles. I like this switching between characters to use their abilities. Both Kagome's sensing and Inuyasha's smells uses up their NP. It's odd to punish you for using the mechanic they gave you to advance the story, especially with these old games that are not very good in guiding you. In the end, it's a basic RPG game. The battles are simple with not much depth to them. If you were a fan of Inuyasha, this would have been a fun way to play through the story you know and love. Sadly, it's in Japanese, so it's hard for someone who does not know the language to enjoy it, but you can still appreciate the cool battle animations and the character's chibi form on the overworld. After this game, they went back to the Wonderswan, but decided they had enough of these menus. Inuyasha Fengyun Picture Scroll is the story of Inuyasha being retold by Myoga, who is the mosquito demon serving Inuyasha. What is interesting about this game's story is that you can view it from different characters' perspectives, but would you want to replay this game to see them? This game is a beat 'em up. You're put in a small arena where you fight against a certain amount of enemies. You have an attack, jump, a special attack, and a team assist. The special attack is the wind scar, while the teammate attack will depend on which party member you bring with you. You can choose up to 4 different characters, and you can perform their special move. Most of them are ways to clear out enemies. As you progress in the story, you unlock more teammates to use. The Weesu character also shows up on the map, and he can be picked and transformed to the enemies you faced before to help you level up. In the end, this is a very simple beat 'em up game. There's not much depth or variety in your attacks, and the most interesting thing is being able to view the story from multiple perspectives. But the gameplay is not worth it. Just like the first game, they might have expected people to play a little bit at a time. There is one last game on the Wonderswan, and it goes back to its roots. Inuyasha Kagome's Dream Diary is basically a sequel to the Sengoku Diary game. It's a completely original story that starts with Inuyasha in human form and having to fight against an enemy that can control dreams that is giving people nightmares. In the gameplay department, it's a better version of the first Diary game. It still has mechanic of the Tamagotchi Inuyasha, but it has some improvements. They got rid of the real world clock and gave you an in-game time. You only get to visit 2 locations, one in the morning and the other in the evening. Once you get to the area, you can walk around to find a hidden ninja. These ninjas are part of the Weasel's new Ninja Power Ranger group. Talking to them makes you start a minigame where if you win, you can get an item, which is better than the nothing you get in the first game. Besides the ninja, you talk to the town folks who give you hints of the event that can happen around and the times it happens. One event I got was of a grumpy old man that wanted everyone to tell him he was heavy. And Inuyasha, being stubborn, allowed his back to break just to admit the old guy wasn't heavy. After you visit the 2 arenas, you fall asleep and are taken to dream scenarios where wacky things will happen, since this is all a dream. In some scenarios you have to fight, and it's the same as the first game where commands are affected by your affection with Inuyasha. But they do give you more options. You can have Kagome or someone from the group attack instead. You usually get a text at the bottom when you should use Kagome, and the other times which teammate will come into attack. The teammates will change as you can develop strong relationship with anyone in the Inuyasha gang. Events that occur in the game also affect the dreams you have, as I had a dream about the old grumpy man when I had the scenario with him. In the end, this is a better paced version of the first Diary game. Getting rid of all the real world clock for in-game timer makes it so you can play at your own pace, and battles have been given a bit more depth. It's still the same type of game as the first one, so if you didn't enjoy the first game, you probably will enjoy this one. But I do appreciate the original story. Now that we have played all the Wonderswan games, we can say goodbye to the Weasel and look at the first game we got in the West. Inuyasha, a Feudal Fairy Tale. This game follows the story of the original show, sort of. You play through different scenarios and each one tells you the premise of the show. In each scenario, you're put in a small map where you can walk around to collect Shikan jewels. You do this in 2 ways. One, you walk into a character and have a small dialogue with them. This is cool to see the 2 characters interact, but it's a bummer that the game's dialogue is in Japanese. Once this conversation's over, you start the battle against them. So, what kind of game is this? This is a simple fighting game. You have 3 attack buttons: weak, heavy, and special attack. If you keep pressing the weak or heavy attack button repeatedly, you'll do a combo and can change it up by going from strong to weak attack in the combo. However, good luck trying to do a combo on these computers, as there is a counter button. These computers must be reading my inputs since they're always disrupting my combos. In the end, I heavily relied on special attacks, which each character has 2 to 3 of. There is also an ultimate attack, which is the only thing that uses up the meter. In some of the story missions, you will have a tag battle where you can switch to the other character or do a special attack with them. The other way to get the jewels is by playing minigames, which can be 3 different ones. If you collect the amount they asked for in the beginning, you unlock a character. Once you finish all the scenarios, you will have 12 playable characters. You can do one-on-ones, tag battles, and that is every battle mode. In the menus, you have these cool options to be able to customize the lines of each characters against another character, but what's the point if it's in Japanese? I do think it was cool to see the CD player as a sound game test. I remember using one and thinking how big they were to carry. In the end, this is a very simple fighting game. It's an easy to pick up and play game to play with friends, but miserable with the cheating CPU. It's also a bit of a lazy port with them only translating the bare minimum of in-game text. Let's now look at our last Japanese game where they decided to play with Lady Luck. Inuyasha, Naraku's Trap, Invitation to the Lost Forest. Sounds like an isekai title. The game starts with our gang on their adventure and notice a shard behind a barrier that they cannot cross. Later they find you, a person that has come from the present with amnesia. Not the only game where you play as an original character from the present, foreshadowing. They notice that they're able to pass through the barrier with you, but only one of them can. This goes into the gameplay of the game. So what type of game is it? This is a board RPG game. You get to pick one character from Inuyasha's party and play on different board maps. The point of the game is to defeat the demon with the Shikanju, but there's another character trying to do the same as you in the board. You move around the board by spinning the spinner that looks like the one from the Game of Life. You move around as many squares as the number you roll, and something will happen, or not, when you land on a square. It can be something good or bad unless you land on a specific square. Land on a star, you get an item or money. Land on a skull, you lose a turn or drop an item. The green squares usually have an event. The Dango square has a small shop where you can buy items to heal, or sometimes a merchant is there to sell you other items you could use in the game. In the house square, you'll be at a village that will give you a side quest that can give you an item and level up your character. You will need to roll the spinner to see if you can even talk to the villagers. You will also use the spinner in battles. These are turn-based and random. You will have a base attack and you can boost the attack by getting a high number on the spinner or using an item. The same will happen when the enemy is attacking you to boost your defense. I usually like randomness in the game. The feeling of landing a crit is amazing, but I completely broke this mechanic in this game. There is a trick to be able to pick any number you want by hitting the button on the number before the one you want. This works every time, and it kills the whole point of the board game. Items that made you move a certain amount of squares become useless. You would think that being able to pick the best number every time in a board game will allow you to steamroll this game, but no, your character becomes underleveled fast compared to the enemies. It's a bit odd. You want to go around the board to level up, but since there's someone out there trying to get the demon before you, you get a time limit. If the opponent gets to the demon before you and beats them, you now have to fight them, who are tougher and can use items as well. It even deters you from switching characters since they will be underleveled and since you need to defeat the demon to win. Why would I switch to Kagome, who has half the attack power of Inuyasha? I had a difficult time trying to play this game even with the trick. I can't imagine doing this when every roll is completely random. In the end, I like the idea of a random battle board game. It's just terribly implemented. The randomness was easily exploitable, and even with that, the enemies become overpowered that even with cheating they're tough to beat. Our next game is one of the few Inuyasha games most people have heard of, and it's where you also play as an original character. Inuyasha, the Secret of the Cursed Mask. You start by picking between a boy or a girl. Here the story begins with our characters trying to help in a festival and getting sucked into the feudal era. Our character gets chased by a demon, and before he is eaten by the demon, he is saved by some mysterious powers he has. One thing you notice is that the game is completely voice acted, but it's not the greatest.
Maybe if I talk to them, they could tell me where I am.
I do like the chibi forms that the characters are given in the overworld, and the animations, while simplistic, are funny to watch sometimes. Once the demon is defeated, Inuyasha and Kagome try to get you back to the present from the Bone Eater as well. It seems you cannot, and now you're trying to figure out how and why you were brought into this world by going on an adventure with the Inuyasha gang. So, how does this game play? It's another turn-based RPG. It has all the usual mechanics, but the way to know the character's turn is by this wheel on the top right. They will race along the wheel, and when they get to the front, it'll be their turns to attack. I'm not a fan of this. It's hard to gauge who will be the next person who attacks with this, especially since different characters will run at different speeds, and who knows how fast the enemy's gonna run. One of the mechanics that's supposed to affect the speed up there are attacks. These are basically the skills in the game, and there are 3 different ones. One uses specials or MP points like in most games, but there's one that does not. It's weaker than the ones that uses points but stronger than your regular attacks. The drawback is supposed to be that the character takes longer for their next action, but the effects are completely negligible. It made the game rather easy spamming these moves on top of having a number advantage with all 6 characters battling at once. The last attack is a co-op attack that will have 2 characters do a special attack together. These are usually very strong and have these cool cutscene animations to them. These are unlocked as you level up, but if you want to unlock the co-op attacks with your characters, you need to do the interval events. When you get to certain parts in the story, you'll be given the chance to spend time with someone in the party. They'll give you these small scenarios where your characters interact with them, and it's cool to be able to spend time with your favorite Inuyasha character. After each scenario, your relationship with that character will grow, allowing you to unlock co-op attacks with them. They even encourage you to save scum and view different scenarios with characters by giving you 30 different save files. One thing I was impressed by was this game's scenery. They have a fixed camera angles allowing them to have these very gorgeous backgrounds. Traveling around, you have random encounters, but you can also get these purple clouds that will have strong enemies in them, usually a good indicator of extra goodies in that direction. Like many RPGs, you can talk to random characters and even get chastised for coming uninvited into someone else's house. There's even a farm in the game where you can use seed and fertilizers you found throughout the game to create your own items. I just think it's so much more rewarding when you create the item in game than just buying them. In the end, this is a good RPG. There's not a lot of challenge in the gameplay department, but the environment and anime cutscenes are good. You get to feel like you're part of the Inuyasha gang and being able to bond with your favorite character in the series. It even has replayability if you want to see the interaction with other characters. Now, let's see them tackle the fighting game genre again, but on the PS2. Inuyasha Feudal Combat. There's no one single story in this game, but 4 small scenarios that follow Inuyasha, Naraku, Tsushomaru, and Shippo. They have these small cutscenes that jump into fights. So, how does this game play? This is a 3D fighter and it basically plays like a 3D version of Feudal Fairy Tale with English voice acting. You have the same weak and strong attacks that you can combo by continually pressing the buttons, or specific ones where you can change between them. You even get the single ultimate attack. It's still very simple and easy to pick up and play, but a major difference is that they got rid of the parry button, so you can finally do a combo on a computer. The game also changed how their 2-on-2 work. All the characters fighting at the same time in the arena, and you both share a life pool. Your partners can be controlled with a different mode, and they have different effects like either focus their attacks on one person or separate the 2 enemies. As you're battling, you can increase your affinity with your partner by saving them, which allows you to increase your energy bar faster. To unlock every character in the game, you need to beat the story mode without losing, which can take you around an hour or 2. There are 21 fights in total to complete all the story modes. After you beat the story, other modes you can play are the Versus, which lets you play with 14 different characters, although they gave Inuyasha the Goku treatment by giving him 3 slots. You also have Shippo, who is the odd jobs of this game. Only low attacks work on him. It's a bit odd that the game has 4 characters on screen, but it's only a 2-player game. They even missed an opportunity to do co-op with a buddy to beat the computers, as the partner has to be a CPU. Characters also have an affinity with each other. If they have a good synergy like Inuyasha and Kagome, you can do a co-op special attack that does a ton of damage. If you don't have any friends, you can also play the mission mode. Here you pick a character and do missions ranging from blocking arrows, destroying the environment, conditional fights, and many other missions. They each have 3 levels to them. They'll give you more of a challenge. If it's too challenging, there's one place where you fight waves of enemies and level up your characters and CPU partner. You can do the missions with other characters who have similar or different missions. In the end, this is an upgraded version of the PS1 game in a 3D fighter. It keeps the easy to pick up mechanics while adding cutscenes with English voice acting and more single player content. It does not have a lot of content sadly, and with how simple the combat is, there's not much reason to keep playing to improve. Let's now talk about our last game, which was on the Nintendo DS. Inuyasha Secret of the Divine Jewel. This game is a North American exclusive anime game. Not something one would expect. You can play as an original character named Janis, who's an American who is moving to Japan. She transfers to the school Kagome attends and becomes friends with her. One day while Kagome is sick, we try to visit her and are attacked by a demon who appears from the Bone Eater Wells. He bonks us on the head, and we are saved by a monk who tells us to go through the well to meet up with Kagome. After meeting with Kagome, we find a Shikon jewel and fuse with it. Now we team up with the gang to find out how to infuse with the jewel. So, how does this game play? This is also a turn-based RPG. However, it does have some unique mechanics. When you attack an enemy, you can have some of your teammates also attack them at the same time, allowing you to quickly kill enemies, but it takes up the other character's turn. You can also do this while blocking to protect a specific character. On top of taking a turn, it will take up EP points, which are your skill points in this game. Depending on the skill, you can use it to take up different amount of EP points, usually depending on their power, attack, and effect range they have, allowing you to hit enemies in the back, or more than one based on their positions. It's a cool way to strategize and decide which move will be best at the moment. Even with all this, I mostly relied on Inuyasha Windscar's attack, since it was powerful, hit everyone, and EP is easy to refill. It refills just by walking around the world. You even get an ability early in the game to heal and revive party members. So just run around in a circle and heal everybody and recharge your EP points. You would think this will be busted in the game, but they do something to mitigate this. They crank up the encounter rate. You can't recover if you can't walk. I was getting back-to-back encounters and it was draining. I felt like I was being punished for trying to explore in an RPG. I was thinking of all the wasted movements I just did if I ever went the wrong way. I even got into an encounter by walking in place. As you keep playing, Janis starts to feel like Kagome 2.0. She is a reincarnation of a woman that married a god and has divine powers from the Kamuitama that demons want to make themselves stronger. Also, there's this moon clock that will make Inuyasha into human form and the new moon. He is not able to perform any of his skills while in human form, so I could not use the Windscar technique. There goes 90% of my strategy. In the end, this game feels like a sequel to Secret of the Cursed Mask. It's a turn-based RPG where you're an original character that goes on an adventure with the Inuyasha gang with mysterious powers. It has some cool mechanics like having multiple attacks, blocking for other characters, and skills that consider enemy placement. The biggest flaw being the encounter rate. It mitigates the EP regeneration, but makes the experience miserable having constant back-to-back encounters. Now that we've played every Inuyasha game, let's rank them. In last place we have Kagome's Diary of the Sengoku period. It's an Inuyasha Tamagotchi that locks its progression behind a real world time passing. A good idea for its console and its time. Next is Fengyun Picture Scroll, a cute but simple beat 'em up that uses the same small arena that its gameplay loop gets repetitive fast. After that we have Kagome's Dream Diary. It's an improvement of the first Diary game by removing the real world clock link, but it's a niche genre of game. Next up is Naraku's Trap Invitation to the Lost Forest, an RPG board game where I broke the dice roll. Love the idea, but it's too tough. In 5th place we have Feudal Fairy Tale. It's a simple fighting game that's easy to pick up and play with friends, but not the computer as it will parry everything you throw at it. Next is the Japanese-exclusive PS1 game. It's a basic slow burn turn-based RPG that takes you through memory lane retelling the original story, but it's sadly in Japanese. In 3rd place we have another RPG with Secret of the Divine Jewel. I love that this game is the most strategic with all the games, but the super high encounter kills the joy of exploration. That leaves our two PS2 titles, RPG versus fighting game. In 2nd place we have Inuyasha Feudal Combat. It's a 3D sequel to the PS1 game where you can actually combo the CPU and have some fun single player modes. It's just lacking in the content and depth department. In 1st place we have Inuyasha The Secret of the Cursed Mask. It's a good RPG with some amazing background and lets you have moments with your favorite character in Inuyasha's gang. If you enjoyed the video, do subscribe for more videos like this and let me know which Inuyasha games you have played or you seem interested in. But as always my lovely patients, I thank you so much for watching and tune in next time. Bye.